which is also a good band. And it's Music Monday. So how perfect is that? Totally ideal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever's happening where you're at. I hope it's fantastic. That's what I hope. I hope everyone is well. What's up, Anna? How are you? I hope you're spectacular. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Did anything weird happen in the news over the weekend? I feel like it was quiet, he said super sarcastically. All right. Let me just put this here. Lucy's just, look, she's like chilling with her back to the camera. She's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my deal is. Howdy, Austin. Good evening. Got some UK folks. What's up, Karen? What's up, DLJ? What's up, George? What's up, Justine? What's up, Over the World Trucker? Lucy, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Peter, is there anybody out there? I'm out here. What's up? What's up, Balthazar? Good to see everybody. What's up, Angela? I hope everyone is doing spectacular. I think I said hi to everybody. I think I got everyone that's here so far. Crazy times indeed, as the Beatles would say. Crazy times indeed. What's up, Matt? What's up? All right. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today, and it's Music Monday, so I guess I'll start with the song of the day. The song of the day, so it's a song, but I encourage you to look at it via more than one medium. Here's the deal. The song of the day is Do You Realize by the I almost said Violent Femmes, by the Flaming Lips. Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips? It's an amazing song. Here's the deal, though. I recommend looking into a cover of it. And one of the covers that I like a lot is by Sharon Van Eaton. Now, I know nothing else about her music. I've never heard another song that she's done, but she does this very great cover of Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips that I highly recommend. And the original's great, so why do I recommend a cover? So I was late to the party when it comes to the Flaming Lips. I didn't really get into them until college. And part of the reason I got into them, or actually like the kind of catalyst that got me into them, was there was this open mic night I would go to every Wednesday at a place called the Runcible Spoon, which was like a really hip hang, really good restaurant. And then at night, it would kind of turn into this sort of, bohemian-esque type hangout. They would do poetry readings. They would do poetry slams, open mic nights, songwriters rounds. You get the idea. And it was just this small space where people would kind of sit around in a circle. It was really cool. One day I was there doing my goofy anti-folk songs, and there was this guy, and he played Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips by himself. It was just him and an acoustic guitar. And I had heard that song in passing before. I was familiar with the Flaming Lips, but hearing it stripped down and it's just most raw, beautiful essence in the lyrics of that song, just piercing through everybody in that room. And there were only about 8 of us. It was like an amazing experience. And he dedicated it to his friend who came with him that night. His friend Laurie was with him. And I remember, it's sad. I remember, I believe his name was Paris. But this is going back. I mean, we're going back over a decade. So I don't remember. The only reason I remember her name is Laurie is because he had a song about her that he played next. And it was called Me and Laurie Are Doing Fine. And this guy was an amazing, talented songwriter. If you're out here, if you're out there and you see this and I'm talking about you, drop me an email. Bloomington, Indiana, circa 2004-ish. You were playing tunes at the Runcible Spoon. Anyway, so he played Do You Realize? And it was like the words just they were piercing. Do you realize that happiness makes you cry? Do you realize that everyone you know someday will die? But instead of saying all your goodbyes, realize that, life is precious. It's hard to make those good times last. We're just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. It's a beautiful song, and I recommend the original if you're not familiar. If you are familiar, or even if you're not, I recommend a cover too. And you can find a lot of covers of that song. Sharon Van Eaton, who, again, I'm not familiar with any of her other work, so I don't know anything about that singer-songwriter, Sharon Van Eaton, but I do know she does an amazing cover of Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips, and I recommend it. So that's the song of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, moving on. Check this out, guys. How awesome is this? Look at this. Oh, man, check this out. This is the most natural hello you'll ever see.
It's amazing when you have two senators in here.
Look at that. Did you ever hear that person? Oh, man, we have two senators here. How wonderful is that? That's so wonderful. We got two of them. Man, lucky us. What a treat. What a treat. Got two senators. Here, wait, here. Let's see this again. Here, we don't even need the sound. It's kind of loud and you can't really hear much of anything. Look at this. Oh, come on. Why isn't it? There it goes. Look, how unnatural. Is that all right? All right. So wait. Take two. So Kamala, in this take, you're going to look excited to see Elizabeth Warren. You're going to look excited to see her, like you're happy, like you're stoked to see her. Imagine, Kamala. So bear with me here. We gotta imagine you're going to get to throw her in prison. Imagine, so you're happy, you're excited. Hey, I get to throw her in jail. Maybe she used pot. Look excited. And then Elizabeth Warren, you're going to say hello to her. Have you ever said hello to a normal person in a normal circumstance? You haven't? Okay, we'll try to. I mean, this is like Hillary Clinton-esque level of totally unnatural. Like, do you know what it's like to just be a normal human being? First of all, there's no way this wasn't staged. There's no way this was just a natural thing and the cameras were on. And then there's just some goofball in the back going, oh, man, we got two senators. Lucky. When I think of a party, I think, give me two senators, a turntable, and a microphone. Most natural. Here, let's watch it one more time. Look at this. Here, we'll do it one more time with sound. Check it out. All right. Here, wait for it. We'll do it at the beginning.
It's amazing when you have two senators in here. I find this wonderful.
Most unnatural. She like faded out there as she said hello too. Did you hear that? She was like, Senator Harris. Which, hey, I do that all the time. You guys know that. That happens to be on this show all the time. I'll be talking about something, and all of a sudden my voice just goes. It's most unnatural. Man, that guy who uttered the whole like two senators. What a treat. That's wow. I feel bad for that guy. It sounds like he might have had a boring life. Two senators. What a party. Two senators. Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. Man, now we can. Now the party started up in here. Man, somebody tapped the keg. We got. All right. So anyway, that happened, and it looked insanely unnatural. Insanely unnatural. So we're gonna get into this story now. I saw this over the weekend. I've not had a chance to look into it yet, but there is an executive order out there via the Trump administration that essentially allows whichever political party is in power, whoever has power in office, to essentially control and censor the internet, which isn't a good thing. Is it concerning that Silicon Valley, via entities like Facebook, Twitter, and Google, get to essentially decide what is and isn't free speech? Yes, that's very concerning. But the answer is not, oh, well, let's just let Republicans and Democrats dictate what is and isn't free speech. That's not necessarily the answer. The answer is policy that protects consumers. That's what it is. But anyway, here's this executive order that a lot of folks are sounding the alarm about, including Fight for the Future. And Tim shares this, and Inks Pixels shared this as well. So you guys want to talk about this today, which is the right thing, because this is an important thing that's going on. So let's look into this Common Dreams article right now. Leaked draft of Trump executive order to censor the internet denounced as dangerous. Yeah, no kidding. And it's unconstitutional. So here's a quote. In practice, this executive order would mean that whichever political party is in power could dictate which speech is allowed on the internet. Say that 5 times fast, by the way. In practice, this executive order would mean that whichever political party is in power could dictate which speech is allowed on the internet. In practice, the political party dictates what you see on the internet. What kind of parties you can see. I'm trying to think of other P words for content. Anyway, civil liberties groups are warning of a major threat to online freedoms and First Amendment rights if a leaked draft of a Trump administration edict, dubbed by critics as a censor the internet executive order that would give powerful federal agencies far-reaching powers to pick and choose which kind of internet material is not acceptable, is allowed to go in effect. Man, the premise of this show is that we're seeing everything for the first time. So people tweet me articles and we go through the news together. I've never seen this article before. This is my first time seeing the article. And when you have a show that's set up this way, one thing you always thank goodness for are run-on sentences. You love them. You're just like, yes, a run-on sentence. Oh boy, I might need a breath. I might need a sip of coffee. Keep it up with those run-on sentences. All right, little bit of a run-on sentence there in the first paragraph. Just saying. Let's go back to the article. All right. According to CNN, which obtained a copy of the draft, the new rule calls for the FCC to develop new regulations clarifying how and when the law protects social media websites when they decide to remove or suppress content on their platforms. Although still in its early stages and subject to change, the Trump administration's draft order also calls for the FTC to take those new policies into account when it investigates or files lawsuits against misbehaving companies. Okay. When Politico was the first to report how the draft was being circulated by the White House, CNN notes that if put into effect, the order would reflect a significant escalation by President Trump and his frequent attacks against social media companies over an alleged but unproven systemic bias against conservatives by technology platforms. And it could lead to a significant reinterpretation of the law that its authors have insisted was meant to give tech companies broad freedom to handle content as they see fit. So here's what Fight for the Future says. The White House just leaked a draft executive order that would give the would give the government the power to censor the internet. We have to stop it. So here's what Evan Greer, Deputy Director of Fight for the Future and friend of this show, here's what she has to say. It's hard to put into words how mind-bogglingly absurd this executive order is. In the name of defending free speech, it would allow mass government censorship of online content. In practice, it means whichever party is in power can decide which speech is allowed on the internet. PEN America, which defends the free expression of writers, journalists, and others, warned that any executive order based on this draft rule would be an unconstitutional, anti-American edict. So here's some more thoughts from Fight for the Future for an action alert that they put out. The leaked documents show that the Trump administration is drafting an executive order that, if HUD belled the court, could essentially end free speech on the internet. The draft will put the FTC and the FCC, headed by its notoriously corrupt chairman, Ajit Pai, in charge of monitoring and policing online speech and social media platforms, online forums, and more. It would give these bureaucratic government agencies unprecedented control over how internet platforms moderate speech by allowing them to revoke the essential protections Congress laid out in Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. CDA 230 is the basic law that makes it possible for online platforms to let users post our own content and to make basic decisions about what types of content they as private entities want to host. Every meme, every social media post, every blog and user-created video on the internet has been made possible by this crucial free speech protection. In practice, this executive order would mean that whichever political party is in power could dictate which speech is allowed on the internet. If the government doesn't like the way a private company is moderating content, they can shut the entire website down. So basically, we have an issue with Facebook and Silicon Valley and all these big tech companies kind of being able to dictate what is and isn't free speech. And here's the Trump administration's response to that. Hey, let us dictate what is and isn't free speech. You see how this isn't a solution. This is the wrong solution. And other digital rights entities have said this. They're like, look, we're concerned about what's going on with Silicon Valley too. It's a concerning thing. A lot of these social media platforms. Lucy, what's wrong? Lucy's concerned. Look how concerned Lucy is about free speech on the internet. I hope you can hear her, by the way. She's meowing over there. She's very concerned about this. Lucy, I get it. You're a digital rights activist. I get it completely. I don't know what do you see something? Is there a fly or something? She's going nuts. Lucy, come on. Why don't you come over here and hang? Come hang out. Yeah, there it is. Are you concerned about the article? You worried? I don't know. She stopped. She just wanted pet, I guess. But anyway, so you see how this is not a solution. They want to take that power that Facebook has, that YouTube has, that Google has, and just put it in the hands of the government. Instead, what they should do is that all these entities that have become commonplace and have become the E-squares in our lives should just be designated public utilities, and they should be regulated as such. So anyway, you see how this is not the right answer, and this would just give whatever political party, as the Fight for the Future says, whichever political party is in charge, they can just dictate what Facebook allows, what YouTube allows, what Twitter allows, what Google allows. So they're basically just kind of trading overreaching power. They'll be like, hey, is it concerning that Silicon Valley has all this overreaching power that they're not qualified to handle? They shouldn't. They're not free speech experts. They're not supposed to be able to dictate what we can and can't see, but they've become utilities in our lives, so they need to be designated as a public utility. Isn't that an issue? Yes, it's an issue. Trump administration, we have a solution. Let us dictate things. Let us have overreaching authoritarian power over the internet. That'll fix it. We'll do it via an executive order. You see how this is another, for instance, of your government not serving you at all? Hey, we have a problem here. We got an idea to make it way worse. We can make it even worse. And then you're going to get people that are going to respond to this, be like, well, you were talking about Silicon Valley and saying how it was a concern. Now look at what we get. Look at what we get now. So in other words, let's not advocate to change anything for the better in our lives. Let's just keep our mouths shut, because otherwise the government's going to make it worse. That sounds like democracy, doesn't it? That sounds like, don't upset the prison guards or we'll get another lashing. That's what that sounds like. I'm just saying all this stuff preemptively because I guarantee you that's going to be on the blogosphere later today. There's going to be people say, well, you guys were concerned about free speech issues when Facebook was overreaching and you were saying that this needs to be a utility. Well, now Trump just issued this horrible executive order that's out there. This is making it even worse. So you're the problem. You should have shut up. Don't upset the prison guards. That's a profile in courage, by the way. And when you see people spreading ideas like that later on social media, which they will, just remember that. That's a true profile in courage. Don't speak up for something that's right because your government might make it worse. And when they do make it worse, it's not because of our corrupt system that needs to change. It's because people spoke out about something that was unjust. Man, that's, again, profile in courage. Don't make the prison guards mad, or we'll get another Lucy's saying that too. She's like, yeah, this executive order is BS. She gets it. All right. So that's what's out there. That's going on right now. And you can go to action. Here, let me make sure I get the website right, because there's a call to action here. actionnetwork.org. Here, I'll show you the picture again. You can check out Fight for the Future on Twitter and actionnetwork.org. And I will retweet this petition too as well. All right. So there you go. Let's so we got a music story from Edwin today. Edwin wanted to share a music story, as it is Music Monday. And this concerns music and climate, huh? Don't you like it when you get that 1-2 whammy? music and climate and one story. So Greta Thunberg has a song out there. Greta Thunberg is the young high school climate activist who has was one of the main initiators of the climate protests amidst school students worldwide, which is really uplifting and motivating to see young people get involved with causes and let their voices be heard for causes, because they're like, hey, we're young, so we're going to be alive for like longer than old people, and we want to stay on this planet. Is that cool? Is it okay? We really want to stay here. We like it here. It's pretty cool here. We want a planet to stay on. I mean, the planet's not going anywhere, but we might, and we don't want to. So we got to do something about climate change. That's what they're saying. Doesn't seem that unreasonable. So Greta Thunberg's 1975 feature was rejected by big artists. So the 1975 is doing a track with her. All right. So Greta Thunberg is one of 2019's most sought after voices, but big artists didn't want to work with her, according to the 1975's manager. All right. So the climate activist features on the first track of the band's new album. Lead singer Maddie Healy and manager Jamie Oborn said Greta is the most important person in the world to give a platform to. Other artists didn't want to do it. It's madness. Bigger artists than the 1975. So a little bit more about the song here. The 5-minute track opens the new album, Notes of a Conditional Form, set for release in 2020. But the track itself was released in July. Its proceeds will go to environmental campaign group Extinction Rebellion. And we'll look into that track for another song of the day, by the way. Jamie Oborn, who founded the label Dirty Hit, said, "We weren't even going to release it until the album came out. That was never the plan. After we met her in Stockholm and recorded it, we agreed it just wasn't a statement that could wait 6 months to come out. It felt like it would have made it a vanity exercise." All right, so Greta Thunberg became one of the leading voices on climate change last year when she started skipping school to protest for change. So on the track titled The 1975, the 16-year-old says it's time to rebel and calls for civil disobedience. All right, so the 1975, and again, that album is called Notes on a Conditional Form. But the track itself is out now. So Greta Thunberg, the 1975. And look it up. Greta Thunberg and the 1975. Check out that track. It calls for action on climate change and civil disobedience. And who are all these big artists that said no, by the way? Who are all? That would be what I'd be curious to see. Who are all these big artists that have said no? We live in such an interesting time. And one of the reasons I love talking about music on this show is because, first of all, I love music. Second of all, I feel like every revolution needs its soundtrack. And that includes this one. And it's amazing right now. And part of it is because of the state of the music industry, because of the state of that which gets commercial exposure and that which doesn't. But it is amazing. You look at the contemporary times we're in, and then you kind of look at a lot of the state of mainstream music, and not all of it. I mean, I know there is some pop music out there that has some deeper messaging, that has some statements in there. So I'm not trying to paint a broad brush here, you know. And full disclaimer too, I'm not really big on commercial pop music. I don't pay a ton of attention to it. Honestly, I only pay attention to it when people bring it to my attention. And some people have shared different songs with me saying, hey, this is surprising. Here's some pop music that actually has some hard-hitting messages in it. So that's why, that's how I'm aware of it in the first place. But man, I really feel like when I go to my gym and I hear what commercial music is, because it's going on in the background, I kind of feel like this is like if 1984 came to fruition, this is what I think the music would sound like. You know what I mean? Like this is the music that they would dub safe for the masses. Like it's just kind of droning electronic with just a basic chorus repeated over and over again. That's saying absolutely nothing, has nothing deep or hard to grasp in it. It's just on the surface. It's just there. It sounds like it could just be computer generated music. And that's especially, and by computer generated, I don't mean like they use electronic instrumentation. I mean that too, but I also mean like it's just like no person put any type of rational, critical thought or creativity into this whatsoever. It's just a generated sound that will sound appealing to the masses. That's what a lot of this music sounds like. Meanwhile, we are living in these insane times where we needed a revolution yesterday. We are reaching a level of disparity that is remnant to ancient Egyptian times. The gap between the rich and the poor is at a level unseen in decades, and that's putting it gently. And you just have this droning, get the masses to shut up, insipid music going on. And there's good music out there, but man, you really got to dig. And, we try to share some of that here. And again, if you got some songs of the day, if you got some music that we need to know about, send it to me, ronfalcone.com. You can email me there. Let me know, because I'm curious to know who all these other large artists were that didn't want to work with Greta. I'm curious to know who else wouldn't want to work with Greta Thunberg. The 1975 did. And I'm not familiar with the 1975, full disclaimer, but I'm going to listen to this song and I'm going to check out this album. I'm going to listen to Greta's song and we'll talk about it on a future episode. So that's out now. And again, Greta Thunberg and the 1975, the single's out now. The album will be out in 2020. All right. So thank you for that, Edwin. Let's see here. All right, we're going to go here next. So I don't know if you guys know this, but today on Twitter is a day to celebrate elephants. We're celebrating elephants today. It's like Elephant Day on Twitter. I forget the exact hashtag, but it's Elephant Day on the blogosphere, on social media. I saw that when I woke up this morning. And the Trump administration is celebrating that day too. And their way of celebrating elephants is to do this. Trump administration weakens Endangered Species Act amid global extinction crisis. Way to go. Awesome. And this is all surfacing today, a day where we're supposed to celebrate elephants, who are a relatively endangered species. And boom, that's what the Trump administration does. They weaken protections for endangered species. This is amazing. Like this is total war is peace. This is total, hey, we're going to protect free speech by allowing ourselves to censor the internet. Hey, happy Elephant Day. We're going to weaken the Endangered Species Act. Man, this administration. Boy. All right. Let's see. Trump administration weakens Endangered Species Act amid global extinction crisis. Awesome. 3 months after leading scientists warned that humans have driven up to 1 million species around the globe to the brink of extinction, the Trump administration has finalized a sweeping overhaul of the Endangered Species Act, weakening one of America's most important laws for protecting imperiled plants and animals. 1 million species, you say? Well, before this administration's done, I bet we can get that to 1,000,001. That's what... Making America great. Making America great. Wow. The Trump administration. Let us censor the internet in the name of free speech. Let us weaken the Endangered Species Act in the name of protecting endangered species. Man. This is what the Democrats can't beat, by the way. The Democrats can't beat this. So the new rules unveiled on Monday, that's today, as of the recording of this, change how federal agencies implement portions of the conservation law, making it easier to remove recovered species from the protected list and opening the door for more drilling and other development. Oh, are they still, did they breed a little bit? Oh, they did? Take them off the list. They're fine now. Take them off the list. They had a good weekend. They all got a little horny. They made a little bit more of them. Are they still super endangered? Oh, they are? Well, whatever. They saw a little spike. Screw them. They're off the list. You're off the list now. Yeah. That's sorry. Sorry, elephants. Sorry, whoever's not, you get the idea. All right. And it's opening the door for more drilling and other development. It also scraps the blank Section 4D rule, a provision that automatically extends the same protections to plants and animals listed as threatened as the acts afford those listed as endangered, and revises how agencies go about designating habitat as critical to species' long-term survival. That's awesome. Are you just threatened? We're not worried. If you're endangered, well, don't breed at all, or and you can stay on the list. If you keep going down, we'll keep you on the list, and we'll just drill around you. And you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to drill, but then we're going to send you a get well card because you're endangered. You're endangered. We're going to send a thinking of you card after we're done drilling and wreaking havoc on your natural habitat. Trump administration, they got this figured out. All right. What other horrible things are in this? The changes first proposed in July of 2018. This has been a big work of progress here. Allow federal agencies to consider economic factors when making decisions about granting species protections, which the law has previously explicitly prohibited and potentially limits their ability to account for the impacts of future climate change. Economic factors. All right, so what is that whole paragraph code for? That whole paragraph is code for if there's money to be made, we don't care. If there's money to be made, we're going to do whatever we want. We're going to drill. We're going to hurt these species. We don't care if they go extinct. We don't care what environmental consequences there might be down the road. If there's money to be made, we don't care. That's what this bill does. That's what these proposals do. These changes to the bill, these new rules. That's what it does. If there's money to be made, we don't care. This could just be called the weakening the Endangered Species Act. If there's money to be made, we're just going to do what we want. If there's money to be made by exploiting the environment, which there's always short-term money for some CEOs. So if that's there, screw it. We're doing whatever we want. That's really what all these new rules, that's what they are. If there's money to be made, we're going to do what we want. That's what all of that is code for. So there you go. Species, tough luck. Tough luck. We've wiped over 1 million species off the planet. And now, the Endangered Species Act, if there's money to be made, we're just going to do what we want. Trump, good job. Unbelievable. All right. So, check this out. So, I saw this. This has been circulating along the blogosphere. I first saw it from Fiorella Isabella from the Convo Couch. Shout out to the Convo Couch. And I retweeted it, and I want to share it with you guys. Check this out. All right, so let's go back. Here, let me do a big view for you. There we go. Yeah, here we go. So there's Bernie. Let's go ahead and get some sound going here.
Really want change. Vote for somebody who comes from the working class, not a billionaire, who understands working class issues, who's going to stand up and fight for the working class.
That's it, we'll let you go. Your polling numbers here in Iowa have gone down a little bit.
No, you're looking at one poll which media seems to like to talk about.
And so, how Bernie Sanders rise to the top of the polls here in Iowa?
Actually, if you look at the reports of polling since the last debate, guess which candidate has gone up the most? Thank you very much.
Mic drop. Boom.
Really want change. Vote for somebody who comes from.
So there you have it. This guy, hey, your polling numbers down. He's like, no, you're looking at one poll, and that's all the media continues to talk about. I've actually gone up. And the guy goes, and then the guy's walking into him. You saw that. He keeps walking into Bernie. Look, I'll repeat this, and I've said this before. Whenever there is an interaction between a journalist and a politician, if you ever find yourself rooting for the politician, it's because journalism has failed. If you ever find yourself, and look at this smarmy dude, and he's, and I don't even know that reporter's name, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure exactly who that is off of just looking at this video, but they're just repeating what they're told to repeat. They're repeating what their overlords at MSNBC allow them to repeat. And here we go. Let's watch it one more time.
The working class.
Start at the beginning.
Working class, not a billionaire, who understands working class issues.
So now he's getting ready for his gotcha moment. Going to ask about the poll.
Your polling numbers here in Iowa have gone down a little bit.
No, you're looking at one poll which media seems to like to talk about.
And so, how Bernie Sanders rise to the top of the polls here in Iowa?
He keeps walking into him.
Reports of polling since the last debate. Guess which candidate has gone up the most? Thank you very much.
Boom. Thank you very much. Just again, like just a distraction. Like, oh yeah, you're down in the polls, because that's the narrative we want to push. And they don't have anything backing that up. They don't have there's a bunch of different polls out there. And if you actually look at what happened on the ground in Iowa, Bernie was the biggest turnout. But meanwhile, they want to look at this one poll that was probably just taken on the landlines. And it's not just MSNBC doing that. Fox News does it. CNN does it. The entire corporate media does it. And then they just repeat these ridiculous questions. And Bernie wasn't having it. Neither was Lucy. She's like, yeah, that was a ridiculous poll. And again, you find yourself rooting for the politician in this, for instance. You find yourself rooting for the politician. Why? Because the media has failed miserably. Because they uphold the bidding of the 1% and their corporate overlords, and they're not concerned with news and information at all. That question that gentleman asked, he was not concerned with news and information at all. He didn't want to genuinely know the answer. He doesn't genuinely believe Bernie's down in the polls. That's the narrative they have to give. That's the narrative they're told to promote. And when you find yourself rooting for a politician over a journalist, that's because these aren't journalists. These are just propagandists. These are just PR machines for the corporatocracy. That's what this is. And man, I hope someday I know what it feels like to actually live in a country that has a real media structure. We don't have it. We don't have, I used to say the media structure in the United States is toxic. Now I say we don't have a media structure in the United States and that's toxic, because we don't. We just have a completely unregulated, unchecked corporate takeover of news and information. And there's no transparency rules. So MSNBC doesn't have to tell you 24 hours a day that they are owned by Comcast. CNN doesn't have to tell you 24 hours a day that they are owned by Time Warner. Fox News doesn't have to tell you that they're owned by a businessman propagandist named Rupert Murdoch. They don't have to tell you that because there's no transparency rules. And if they did have to tell you that, everybody in the country would be like, wait a second, these entities have no business being in news and information. You're right. They don't. And they're not doing information. They're doing propaganda. And that's why you see, for instances like this, where some journalist asks some ridiculous leading question about a bogus poll, walks into Bernie Sanders, and you just get a funny moment online. So there you go. But it was kind of funny. He just mic dropped. And Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, they all need to just have more mic drop moments where they just don't put up with it anymore. And they just say, you know what? No, you're wrong. Here's what's really going on. Because those moments, they're not going to be portrayed as sexy on cable news. But what they will do, they will go viral on the internet. And that's where people are going anyway. All right. So there we go. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is having a good one. I know I said that before, but I want to say it again. Let me see what you guys are saying. Where'd Lucy? Lucy's running around somewhere. But I don't know where she went. All right. Over the Road Trucker. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Here, let me scroll down here. Sorry about that. Bought 2 for the price of 1, question mark. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Oh, you might be talking about the song of the day where I said that, do you realize it's the song, but I recommend checking out a cover of it. I think that's what you're referring to. George Allen, happy post-Black Cat Recognition Day, Lucy and Ron. Thank you very much, George. I think Black Cat Recognition Day is coming up on August the 17th, so it's this week. But if you're a patron, you know that Lucy wrote a dialogue about it over the weekend. Lucy had a statement about Black Cat Recognition Day, but that is coming up on the 17th. Zero Divisor, did you mention Tool's new album? No, I did not mention Tool's new album. I admittedly didn't know Tool had a new album. So sorry, I missed that. But I'd be curious. Zero Divisor, email me a track, and we'll do it for a song of the day. Alfonso, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. Ron, did you get a chance to check out Silver Jews? I did not. I know that singer-songwriter passed away, and I got to take a look at that. Alfonso, email me some music, and I will check it out. But I know that person passed away. I was not hip to them. I missed the party on that one, the party being their music. So please send me some stuff for me to look into. But yeah, I know that gentleman passed away. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm not familiar with that music. Don't know anything about it. Send me some stuff to look into. And Zero Divisor, please send me some stuff on the new Tool album. Over the Road Trucker, George, Zero Divisor, Alfonso, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. Tour dates, I got them. Next month, we're coming to the upper Midwest. That's coming up. September 4th, we're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. That's Graham Elwood and myself. September 5th, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. September 6th, Madison, Wisconsin. September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And September 8th, Iowa City, Iowa. Get your tickets now at ronplacone.com. Australia, got some good news. All the tickets are available. Perth, Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne. Tickets are available. Get them now. We're coming to Australia. I am stoked. We will see you soon. Australia, November, the Progressive Comedy Tour. Graham Elwood and myself. See you soon. Hey, if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content. You want to know what Lucy has to say about Black Cat Recognition Day? She talks about it. You also get full stand-up clips that aren't available anywhere else. You get my album. You get to download my album. It's just boom, my album right there. You get to download it. And that's all for a Give What You Can level, whatever you're comfortable giving monthly. And that helps me expand the show. I want to do more interviews. I want to do more segments. I want to start having debates. I want to start doing a cooking segment. I want to do a food segment. Get your food on with Ron, which, by the way, I need to lose weight. In fact, I wanted to announce this today. I am taking a month off of booze. I'm having a dry month. No booze for a month. I haven't been boozing too much. I've been boozing just enough that I gained an uncomfortable amount of weight. So no booze for a month. I'm counting on you guys to help me hold that. A month. Starting today, a month. You have to be like, and you can remind me, drop in the chat, be like, hey, Ron, did you drink anything? And if I'll admit it, if I'm like, I had a whiskey. And, but hopefully I'm going to get through this 1 month. That's my goal. So anyway, yeah, that's happening. But I want to expand this show. If you are so able, patreon.com/ronplacone. Please like these videos, share these videos. Make sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell. They unsubscribe people. Make sure you're subscribed. Have an autoplay window going where the ads play through. And don't just do that for me. Do that for all the content creators you know and love, because that sustains our channel and it allows what we do to stay possible. You guys know the drill. Lucy just left. I don't, and her day's coming up later this week. We'll be talking about that. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time over on YouTube, right here on YouTube. And until then, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.